As you learned, there are lots of similarities between arrays and objects. Mainly, they both provide a way to store multiple values. Arrays store each value in a specific numeric position called an index, and objects store multiple values that can be accessed using a key or property name. Because array elements have numeric index, and a for loop is one quick way to access each element in the array. To access data that's inside an object, you use a special type of loop called for-in loop. The for-in loop iterates over each key or property name in the object. The structure looks like this. The object here refers to the name you gave the object. For example, let's say you had a student object. If the object's name is student, then the for-in loop will look like this. The variable key represents a property name inside the object. A different property name gets assigned to this variable each time through the loop. For example, let's say you display the value of each key to the console. This will display all the property names to the console, in this case, full name and age. The word key here is only a variable name, so that means you can name this to prop name or whatever you'd like. Now, this gives you access to the key names only. So how do you get to the actual values associated with each key? Well, you can't use dot notation in this case. For example, this will not work, because this would try to access a property that's literally named prop name. The only way to access an object's properties using for-in loop is using JavaScript's bracket notation. The syntax for JavaScript's bracket notation looks like this. First, I include a set of square brackets after the object name, then place the variable name I used here in for-in loop. This will dynamically access each property value. Let's look at an example. To code along with me, first download the course folder from the link in the description below and open it with your favorite code editor. Here I'm using Visual Studio Code. From the course folder, open the exercise folder called JavaScript Objects. And then open the index.html file in the browser. Here I'll also open the JavaScript console. In the index.html file, remember to link forin.js file. In the forin.js file, you'll find the same student object you have worked with in the previous lectures. Now we'll use for-in loop to iterate over the properties of this object and display them in the console. I'll start by writing the for-in statement. The name of the object is student, and prop represents the name of a property in the object. A different property name in the object gets assigned to this prop variable on each iteration. I named it prop, but again, since it's a variable, you can name it whatever you want. Key, property, student data, or anything. I'll display the value of prop to the console on each iteration. I'll save the change. Refresh the page. The console displays the name of each property of the student object. Let's also access the value of a property and display it in the console. I'll update this to a template literal that inserts the value of prop into the string. Then add a colon, space, followed by another $sign curly braces. Then type student.prop. I'll save the change. Refresh the page. Notice how the console outputs undefined for each value. This means that the property doesn't exist, and it doesn't. Because the JavaScript engine is looking inside the object for a property that's literally named prop. Prop is just the name of this variable. Remember, to access a value of an object's property in for-in loop, we can use the JavaScript's bracket notation. I'll remove the period and add the variable name prop between square brackets. When using the bracket notation, the JavaScript engine looks for a string value to access the property value. For example, I'll type full name as a string and let's see what that does. I'll save the change. Refresh the page. Notice how it returns all the different property names, but the same property value, the value of the full name property. Since I have explicitly specified the full name property between the square brackets, it returns only the value of full name property each time through the loop. So now I'll replace this string with the variable name prop. and this will dynamically output the keys and their property values. I'll save the changes, refresh the page, and we have the value of each property displayed in the console. So remember that when using a for-in loop, you have to use bracket notation to access a property value. And up next, I'll teach you how to store objects inside an array.